2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, the 1st of November, and it's World Vegan Day. And a big happy birthday to Tony Collette, Anthony Kiedis, Tim Cook, and Penn Badgley. It's been a long time coming, but the COP26 has finally kicked off in Glasgow. It's a United Nations climate change event which will see a host of world leaders debate and discuss what action they can take on climate over the next 2 days before the real negotiations begin as the conference runs through to November the 12th. Alok Sharma, who's the president of the event, is focused on the goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees to avoid the worst-case scenarios.
The rapidly changing climate is sounding an alarm to the world to step up on adaptation, to address loss and damage, and to act now to keep 1.5 alive. And we know that this COP26, is our last best hope to keep 1.5 in reach.
Boris, who was also busy at the G20 summit in Italy this weekend, is focused on getting agreements and ensuring that this summit has a positive impact on the planet's future.
The solution to climate change is clear. It lies in consigning dirty fossil fuels like coal to history and recognising the role that nature plays in preserving life on this planet. If we don't act now, the Paris Agreement will be looked at in the future not as the moment humanity opened its eyes to the problem, but the moment we flinched and turned away.
By the way, if you want to get up to speed on what exactly COP26 is and why it's so important, we've got a new Smarter 7 episode which gives you everything you need to know. Just search Smarter 7 Climate. 6. As world leaders gather in Glasgow, there's been positive support from Prince Charles, who's attending the event as the Queen remains on rest in Buckingham Palace. He says he's seeing some signs of optimism.
Now, after, I suppose, very nearly 50 years, I'm at last sensing a change in attitudes and the build-up of positive momentum. It is also impossible not to hear the despairing voices of young people who see you, ladies and gentlemen, as the stewards of the planet, holding the viability of their future in your hands.
Teenage activist Greta Thunberg, who hasn't been invited, wasn't too impressed by Chancellor Rishi Sunak's budget, which she thinks missed an opportunity to make an impact on climate change as he cut taxes on short-haul flights.
When you see a pattern of these policies that all the time are avoiding taking real action, I think you can draw conclusions from that pattern that climate action is not really our main priority right now.
It was a busy weekend for world leaders as the G20 summit took place in Rome on Saturday and Sunday. French President Emmanuel Macron had a friendly meeting with Joe Biden, but less friendly meetings with Boris and Australian PM Scott Morrison. He's annoyed with Boris over the fishing row and with Scott over the hashtag AUKUS pact, which left France out in the cold.
I have a lot of respect for your country. I just say when we have respect, you have to be true and you have to behave in line and consistently with this value.
Do you think he lied to you?
I don't think. I know.
There was a big deal announced at the summit too between the United States and the European Union with climate implications, as President Joe Biden explains.
The United States and the European Union have agreed to negotiate the world's first trade agreement based on how much carbon is in a product. The deal will immediately remove a point of significant tension with our friends in the European Union. And it rejects the false idea that we cannot grow an economy and support American workers while tackling climate crisis at the same time.
The movie world was shocked by the death of cinematographer Halnia Hutchins on the set of the movie Rust. The investigations into what happens are still ongoing, but the man at the centre of the inquiry who fired the prop gun that killed Halnia and wounded the director, Alec Baldwin, spoke to the press over the weekend.
She was my friend. The day I arrived in Santa Fe to start shooting, I took her to dinner with Joel, the director. We were a very, very, well-oiled crew shooting a film together, and then this horrible event happened.
He was grabbed by reporters with his wife on a roadway, and he says it's a tragic event for all involved.
There are incidental accidents on film sets from time to time, but nothing like this. This is a 1 in a trillion episode.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Idris Elba explains why he's drinking pickle juice and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame welcomes new legends. Right after this.
You're listening to the Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform. There were 9 Premier League games this weekend, with West Ham continuing their great run with a win at Aston Villa, Crystal Palace beating Man City at home, and Liverpool only able to muster a draw with Brighton. However, all eyes were on the Saturday evening fixture as Man United travelled to Spurs in what was a must-win game for both managers. Man United put in a strong performance to win 3-0, which was a big relief for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but piled pressure on new Spurs manager Nuno Espirito Santo. Ollie's now focused on the next game in the Champions League on Tuesday night.
You know, you're under pressure from day one when you walk in here, and of course this week has been a difficult one for the players. Fans, they haven't been happy, but as I said out there, this is one game. It's the next one now, Atalanta.
Saturday night saw rock and roll royalty including Taylor Swift and Sir Paul McCartney gather for this year's induction ceremony into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. Jay-Z became the first living solo rapper to enter, along with Carole King, Todd Rundgren, Tina Turner, the Go-Go's and the Foo Fighters.
I feel so honored to be celebrated in such a way. Thank you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for this incredible honor.
Kathy Valentine of the Go-Go's had a slightly different take on the event.
Being in a band is a trip. It is not like anything else. It's kind of like being married. In our case, a polygamous same-sex marriage that ends up getting divorced and remarried and divorced and remarried.
Idris Elba's busy promoting his new western, The Harder They Fall, which is of course produced by Hall of Famer Jay-Z. Idris was chatting with Jimmy Fallon on Friday night about an unusual problem for the star of a western movie. Turns out he's allergic to horses.
There was this old gentleman who was one of the supporting artists, and he saw me sneezing, my eyes red, and he said to me, "Yo, Idris, you gotta use some pickle juice." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Pickle juice, you gotta drink some pickle juice, you're gonna be fine." The next day, I drank some of that pickle juice, and it actually worked. I'm not even gonna lie. It's something to do with the dill. I don't know, dill.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.